Hey guys, so I just want to give thanks to a couple of videos that I watched. Um, I had the need to create one of those attic elevators, and I did some research. I didn't want anything fancy, I just didn't want to have to go up and down the stairs, which we do in the garage section of um, our garage. So I was looking at Brian's video, and he got some good tips about building
Hi,
this
I'm Brian.
elevator.
My son Winch is behind the camera. Welcome back to sunny Minnesota, and today we're going to talk about accessorizing the elevator. I have to say, I never expected we're up to about a quarter.
So I put a pause there for a second, just to point out that his elevator, I mean, he did use unit struts. It was done with a nice frame, wooden frame, and he did think about several items, especially for safety items. And I like all of that. So yeah, thanks to Brian, he got me thinking, and then I did go ahead and start looking at other videos that I found again in YouTube, and I got a couple of different ideas as well. So let's look at this other elevator. And of course, right now we're only looking at the unit strut. We're looking at the unit section. The difference between this particular lift, if you will, its construction. If you notice, there is an I-beam up on top. Of course, the unit, the hinge itself. The construction in this case, it's all metal. It's all welded together, and you can see that there is a piece of plywood and kind of like a triangular shape, helping the elevator be more stable. Again, they're using the same idea. The idea here mainly is that they're using the unit strut with the welded base platform, using the plywood as the base, and so that looks pretty nice. I like that. And again, those unit struts are using the rollers, and they do have the rollers, the unit strut rollers, available for. Available in fact, I found those in Amazon. Let's review another one. So this particular unit is pretty good. He did think of a lot of things. He built the metal frame. He's got the right engineering for the winch, and he also has, if we can see that, not only he has the winch in the middle with with the chain, but he also has some safety features added, so that if something was wrong with the winch, then it will not just free fall. It will actually stop the elevator. Let's listen to this guy. And again, I'm showing you guys the information. So you can always try to find them if you need more details. But
Got
let's
an
listen to
electric
this guy.
winch with a cable that will actually catch the unit if it was to break, the chain break. That cable there would catch the unit, keep it from crashing to the ground, which would be a good ride. And then over here we also have a switch system
I
that
like
once
that.
you run the unit up with all your valuables, you can turn that key and that'll shut off the power so nobody can bring it back down when you're out of town or whatever.
I like
Hope
that.
you enjoyed it.
That part. Too bad he doesn't go into more details as to how that got built. I can understand the winch. I can understand the free falling, and I'm assuming this is some electronics that some switches that he just put in the middle to cut off the electricity. So I might need to do some more digging and find out how that got done. But overall, great design. Thanks for the tips. So again, I was just looking for different designs and different ideas. Here's
This
one
is my
other one
homemade added lift.
done by Dennis.
I had that frame built. It cost me $250 to have a welding shop just make it. I gave him the schematic and how I wanted it built and all that. And I'm going to go up here. These little things are guides. They actually, it was a Slim Jim, and I just cut it in half and drilled some holes in it, and that helps guide it. When you go up to the sides there, it doesn't hit. Okay, and then I'm going to show you here the cable. This is how we attach the cable. Drill a hole right through this 1x1 steel, and then offset the cable with star washers. And the three of them, you can use 4 if you wanted to. All right. So now I'm going to go
Dennis,
up
I
and
appreciate it, but
show you what the hardware is up here.
I think I'll have to pass on this guy.
The motor I used is from Harbor Freight.
I like-
It's a small motor. I forgot the name.
I like the
of it,
idea,
but
I just don't like
give
this
that to
design.
you.
So another design that I was looking into, and I get a lot of ideas from this guy, Blast Works. Pretty cool guy. So let's listen to him.
So
I'll
just
try
want to throw together a quick
show you some
video
of the highlights.
with a bit more detail with regard to my garage lift. First off, for rails and dollies, I use a piece of Unistrut 1 5/8 channel. So you can see it's like a C channel with a bent inlet.
Those are pretty standard. Home Depot has those for.
I just got this mounted
10
to the
footers.
wall with some lag bolts. So what I did was I took down the sheeting on the inside of the walls, put in some extra studs, 2 on each side, and after fixing them in,
Let's forward
putting
that
in some
a little
extra 12 gauge with 4 connectors. That way I've got enough length that I can put it up and have the controller down.
bit. So the design again, it's welded.
As you can see, I have
Again, it's a winch
a 440/880
On an
electric
I-beam.
cable hoist.
across.
It's affixed to a
That's where the hoist is hanging
4x2
to.
metal beam, hollow square stuff.
And that's
hollow tube
again
stuff,
rested
whatever
on
you
the
call
wood.
it. For support, I didn't want to attach it to my trusses, so what I did was I laminated 2x12s and have them on the floor. You'll see that they're bolted to supports that go across 3 of the trusses, but that's only to keep it from moving left and right kind of thing.
And
All
that's
the actual
a good
force
design.
transferred through the beam comes down through those and onto the floor above. I also had to extend my lengths of rail, so I just built up a simple frame like that for the extra pieces of rail that go all the way up.
You can see that he added the Unistrut there.
With regard to the types of dollies that I use, these are just standard 1 5/8 dollies. You can get them on McMaster Car. I'll try to
Amazon
remember
has
to post
those
a link to
as well.
those when I put the
They
video
work out pretty
together.
good.
But essentially they're roller bearings on either side and they bolt.
I noticed that the rolling bearings that he's using, those are the right ones for that Unistruts, but I noticed that he's also bolted those to the frame. So that was pretty good. I think my design will probably have them welded to the back of the frame, and I'm probably gonna have 4 of them, one of in each corner, so that my frame, my lift itself doesn't shake or move or gets bended out of shape. My idea would be that the frame itself will be holded by the winch, and therefore it's not, really resting on the unit strut itself, so there is not much weight added to it. But yeah, I like all of these ideas, and I'm gonna end up using some of them, of course. So I appreciate it, and I definitely thank these guys for all the work ahead of time. Before I
This is what it looks like in the up position. So what I've done around it, because I heat the downstairs portion of my garage during the winter when I'm working, is I've just used some simple weather strip. You look down here, you can see the plastic weather strip. It's just affixed to the bottom of the lift itself, and it seals up when it comes up through the hole.
That's pretty good. Good idea.
Electric cable hoist. With the cable extended all the way down and not double back, it'll do 440 pounds. When it's double back through a catch block, it'll do 880. So that's what I use. There's another one available, which goes up to 1,320 pounds, but for my use, I don't think I need anything that big.
So what's interesting about this hoist is that I had found different ones. Some of them are in, of course, Harbor Freight. The others are out of Amazon. And the one I'm getting from Amazon, it says that it's 1,200 pounds that it can lift. However, once I got it, I noticed that unless we swing the wire around the hook in the bottom, it only holds 600 pounds. So it has to be able to do the entire loop, and there is a section in the top where it actually hooks, and that is what is required for it to do 1,200 pounds. So that is interesting. I noticed that there is other hoists out there that will automatically double the capacity of the lift. But yeah, so it's something to pay attention that without that loop, you're gonna get only 600 pounds.
Well, it goes up to 1,320 pounds, but
Keep watching this guy.
for my use, I don't think I need anything that big. Here are the laminated 2x12s that I use as supports either side. See what I've done is I've laminated some 2x12.
That's his name.
His
But
feet.
I'm gonna stop him and I'm gonna move forward with a few more.
Two 2x12.
So here's another video. I did a couple of advancing it. So I advanced it so that you guys don't have to go through all of that. But again, I'm just gathering ideas from what other people have done and trying to get to a point the best solution that I want for my lift. And again, it's not for people per se, but it's only I have a bunch of, like probably all of you have a garage full of stuff that you need to bring up to the attic section of your garage. Get it out of the way. Let's listen to this guy.
So what I did was I actually framed an opening after watching a bunch of YouTube videos from some different people, and mounted a hoist, and then this hoist essentially brings up a platform or lift. So I basically mounted.
So whatever you guys do, I guess my main concern is to keep it safe and do it the best way possible that I can do it, or have somebody do it for me. I do have access to some guys who are excellent welders, and so I'll be doing that. I'm gonna have them help me do some other welding, and I'm gonna follow this section with another video explaining some of the steps that we follow to get it done. But again, overall, this is some of the ideas, and that's some of the research that I did, as probably all of you are doing as well. So basically, we need a hoist, we need the unit struts, we need a way to hold the hoist up in the top, and we need to build a platform. And we also need to make sure that it's stable enough so that it's solid and it does feel safe. My idea is that I only want to use it to bring heavy items up to the attic section of the garage. But let's look at this guy.
The hoist using a square tubing, a square piece of steel tubing. So I built the
His
platform
up
out of
and down
wood,
doesn't look that
and
high.
you could definitely make it out of steel. It's probably stronger if you do. But for me, it was more of a cost issue, and I'm not planning on lifting more than 100 pounds or so.
So that's good.
I added some supports using L brackets on the right and the left, as well as underneath and on top, just to support the frame better.
That's
I then
good.
attached trolleys to each corner on the upper right, upper left, and lower right. And I'll put a link to these trolleys in
So
the
you put four
video
of them.
description. You can buy them online, and they fit in the rail really nicely. So these are what the rails look like. There's one on the right and one on the left. You can buy them at your local hardware store. In order to mount the rails, I actually had to pre-drill a hole in between the holes that are already there. And that's so that the screw can sit flush and the trolley can go up and down without hitting the bolt head. I also ran an electrical wire up to the second floor and added an outlet in order to power the hoist. This is a demonstration of the lift going up to the second floor, and basically once it gets to the top, I stop it. I just wanted to show you the underside of the lift and of the platform again.
Yeah, so a point here to note is that those screws that he put inside of the unit struts, I found that they got in the way once we built ours. And so we end up taking those screws out, mainly because our base is not wood. We're doing it on a brick wall. My garage is made out of brick, so we had to deal with that. I guess the heads of those screws were too big. But yeah, that was one of the issues that we had.
I'm really happy with the way this came out.
But yeah, overall it's the same idea. Let me stop this video so it doesn't get too long, and I will show you and I will share with you guys what I did. Thanks. All right, so here's not the finished product, but work in progress. Just want you to look at the unit struts, the metal framing, and I'll be talking about some of the issues that we had in building this. But look at this unit going up and down, and then I'll be doing some commenting on this. You notice we do have metal, which is the upper section of my garage.
No, it's working.
We did have some issues as we were building this. The frame itself didn't align properly, and so it was getting some friction on the unit struts as it was going up and down. And so we needed to weld and unweld as we were trying to align this properly. We end up removing some of the welding, and we end up adding more welding to make it lined up properly. So something that is interesting to note, it's that we use pretty much 1/4 inch steel and then we ended up welding some of the pieces of steel around the I-beam. And here's us doing some of the drilling on this particular steel. It's pretty tough to drill, so we had to use not only a drill bit, but we also had to use one of these, I don't even know how you call those drills, with a special drill bits, I guess, that do a really good job. Again, my background is not in welding or engineering. I'm an IT guy, but this is fun for me to see and have these guys and watch these guys do their best job. So, but yeah, just keep in mind that to get these holes done on drill, we had to go at a pretty slow speed to make these holes work. Yeah, so let me just point this out. We got the winch, and then we had to pull it apart to line up the I-beam. And again, as I was telling you guys, I ended up having this welded onto the I-beam. But one of the things that I wanted to be able to do is, if something goes wrong with it, I want to be able to take it away and put it back in. Turns out that the holes didn't line up properly, so I wouldn't be able to just drill the 4 holes that hold the winch itself, and then mount it onto the I-beam. One other option would have been to build a bracket around the I-beams, but remember, I'm gonna have this I-beam welded on top of the metal frame, steel frame that I already have in the garage. So I wanted to follow suit, and this didn't work. So here's those plates that we had to weld on the I-beam so that the screws will line up and against those holes, and so that's what we end up doing. We end up adding those metal plates with the holes, and those were welded against that the I-beam itself that eventually we brought up and as one single unit, and we mounted and welded that onto the upper section. So I do feel like something worth mentioning is some of the steps that we had to do, mainly the guys had to do, to get this idea come true. And again, for me, it's more like a wish idea, and thanks to YouTube, I was able to accomplish what I wanted to do. But not just YouTube, it took a lot of guys to help me out get this done. So here's like, for example, some of the grinding that we had to do for this I-beam. It was too long. The section that we needed to bring up to the attic and eventually mount in the ceiling was too high. They only sell it at I don't know, it's like 10 footers. So we had to cut it in half or so and get it just right and size just right to meet our needs. But again, this is an angle grinder. Cutting this I-beam require some finesse. I'm sure if I had to try this, and in fact I did try it, and the way you hold the angle grinder is not like holding a pencil, right? It's you have to be pretty good at doing this. So my hits are definitely off to these guys and getting these things done. So if you notice, we had one guy cutting down here, and the other guy welding the upper section. All of this middle part of the building got expanded where we raised the ceiling section, and I used iron 4x4s to build that, and then we just encapsulated with a new frame and got rid of the old roof, which was pretty old and was about to fall off, and I don't like it. So this gave me the extra space that I needed, plus by having it done welded with iron, then I'm able to be more flexible and allow more stuff, and I feel a lot safer because I know that stuff is not gonna fall or ever give me any issues. So. Let me move on to the next part of it. So the base of the platform is done by this 1x4 iron beams, and so of course all of that had to be custom made, and it had to be welded as well. These two guys did an excellent job for me. They carry out my dream, and they succeeded at doing exactly what we needed to get done. So that's just the base part of it. I'll show you the next step after this. So yeah, it took some finesse in getting the unit struts up and welded onto the I-beam into several sections of the wall. And then of course the metal frame on the top, it's also iron, so that also got welded into the upper section. We had to do a couple of extensions. The finesse part came into once we had the coasters to go up and down and making them fit into the unit struts, making sure that they align perfectly up and down, and that thing is solid. I was very confident after we finished. But yeah, doing the welding, we welded the up and down. These guys are right now just working on the welding. And then at one point I explained to you guys that the screws didn't fit, so we had to get those metal plates, and we had to drill to the sides of the metal plates only because the coasters wouldn't go in the middle. It wouldn't go up and down properly. They were getting stuck. But yeah, those were some of the little nuances of issues that we had. These guys are troopers. They were working this day. We were like at 11 at night getting it done. And here in Chicago it's pretty cold. So I was freezing, but these guys were they just kept going until we got it done. I think that this was the point where we got it all welded. We were pretty happy with how it was going up and down. And then we had all the pretty much the welding part of it. The project was completed at this point. So let me give you a close-up. This is all after it got welded, and we went back, and I went back and did some retouching with some metal paint, which works out pretty good, by the way. But let me run this little video for you guys. Okay, so here's the structure. We got metal beams, 4x4s and 2x6s going across, holding the roof. And this one is welded. This is the 2x6. So this section here is all welded, and then we had added not only the middle cross beam, but we also added, to reinforce the structure, some diagonal beams that were, I believe, 4x4s. And then we added the I-beam right above that. And we had to line them up so that it was perfect. So we had to cut that section, and we had to put some plates to hold it. And that was welded all around.
Folded the elevator along the unit struts.
The unit struts were welded everywhere. That was not in focus. Apologize for that.
Winch. And got little plates in the back just so that they can adjust against the brick wall.
But yeah, here's the structure itself. And again, just like other videos, I follow some other guidelines. In this case, I also welded the supporting section
So
where the winch is attached to. And I feel a lot more comfortable that way.
built. And this is got a little remote control.
Something that is interesting to notice is that this particular winch, and I think all of them do as well, are pretty loud. So I don't know if there is a better winch or one that is not as loud, but yeah, it's pretty loud.
Very loud.
At this point, we had used the little lift to go up and down and pretty much empty the bottom section of the garage, which is was my goal since I would say maybe 6 months ago when we started this project. And yeah, having a ladder go up and down was too difficult. So having this little lift available to me, it makes it a lot easier.
It's doing a good job. So there you guys have it. Homemade elevator.
Yeah, literally homemade elevator. Not much different from what other people have done. So I want to thank everybody for taking a ride with me in memory land. And I also want to thank all the other guys who make this possible by providing videos and giving me some ideas. So, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate your attention. So just want to show you us going up and down on this little elevator. There's still a couple of things that I need to do. I need to add some safety harness. I need to add an extension to that switch so that we can go up and down. Otherwise, only my friend here can go up and down since it's pretty high up there. So we're gonna have to add a little extension. And again, we felt that it's pretty solid. It doesn't swing one way or another. It's pretty good. And again, bringing a box like this up to the attic would have been impossible through our stairs. I have one of those stairs that help me go up and down. All right. Again, thank you very much. Talk to you guys soon. Again, a couple of more boxes going up and down.
Hazme la cabeza.
So yeah, solid structure, works well. Again, we wouldn't use it on a every day
Sí, eso
to
lo
go up and
dejamos
down.
especialmente.
But keep in mind that the whole idea is for us to bring up and down these boxes, these containers, and get it off the floor. So again, thank you.